How about you and David Wood get involved in some kind of sexual activity? How about you get on your knees? Didn't like that. But wait a minute, what's the problem? There has to be some kind of foreplay, some kind of luring process between relatives. There has to be a sexual drive. Yes?
Let's come to Mohammed Hijab's disturbing personality. Since he is so bad at defending Islam, and maybe he has a lot of frustrations, he often gets very angry and then says very vile, very stupid, unbelievable things. I will discuss a series of topics that might be disturbing, such as violence, terrorism, suicide, slavery, sexual violence, sexual acts, and more. I will discuss them because our dear friend Mohammed Hijab tends to talk about such matters very frequently.
This man has real problems.
As mentioned previously, Mohammed Hijab told me to commit suicide and then shortly after deleted those tweets. When called out on this by others, and by me, he asked what is wrong with suicide and encouraging suicide under a nihilistic or utilitarian worldview. Utilitarianism implies that what is pleasurable or beneficial to people or to most people is good. How the hell could you conclude that committing suicide and encouraging people to commit suicide is not bad under that worldview?
What the hell? I mean,
a series of extremely important philosophers have gone through the problem of human existence and existential angst, and even the problem of suicide in length. Psychologists have appealed to science and concluded that humans have in common the will to live, and not only humans. When people commit suicide, it's not because they are sad and that's why they just want to die. No, it is mostly because they struggle with mental illness, or they are caught in a desperate situation and don't find a way out. They fear for their tomorrow because they did something terribly wrong, or something terrible happened to them. Telling somebody that they should commit suicide, that they should jump off a high building, is almost guaranteed to go against their worldview. When I called him out on the whole suicide thing, he published a video in which he explained that he wasn't angry or anything, but he only wanted to test my consistency.
This is a quick response. I don't want to spend much time on this individual, but it's a quick response to a person who calls himself the apostate prophet AP. This Apos individual is a vile creature. So I wanted to test whether he believes in moral subjectivism or relativism. Because sometimes I put something on Twitter and then delete it. And they think, oh, he's deleting it because he said something out of impulse and now he's deleting it. No, there's a method behind the madness to be able to show you the hypocrisy of these individuals. I said to Apus, if I were you, I'd rather die from the cowardliness that I have, the pain of a coward, than continue, or something to this effect. So go and jump off a building, go and kill yourself.
That doesn't even make sense, and he's lying about why he posted those tweets and deleted them. He simply got angry because I was calling him a coward, which is why he angrily posted that and then immediately deleted it. And although he claimed that that was just to test my consistency, he later went back and deleted every related comment. And then he even went back and deleted this explanation video, which was supposed to explain why he did this giant master plan. That clearly doesn't look like he had a genius plan behind this. He made a mistake. He was angry, he was impulsive, but it's very hard for Mohammed Hijab to admit his own mistakes. If it wasn't a mistake, then I will have to say Mohammed Hijab is very stupid for not understanding nihilism, utilitarianism, and suicide. In any case, Mohammed Hijab is either a liar or an idiot. After the whole suicide thing, when I mocked him for refusing to have a fair debate with me, he also appeared in the live chat of my stream with David Wood and made a series of very strange comments. Let me read. You two can play with each other. Get on your knees for David Wood. Gimp. David Wood can give you a golden shower. Go ahead and give David Wood what he wants. Wink. Let David Wood give you a golden shower. Gimp. Get on your knees for your master, boy. You can suck that. Golden showered from your master. I know you need a slave master. Golden shower. Gimp. Get on your knees for your master. Let him slap your face, you fiend. I mean, what the hell, man?
This individual, this man has real problems.
This only shows again what kind of weird stuff is going on in Mohammed Hijab's head. Honestly, I wasn't even aware of the term gimp, but Mohammed Hijab, in the name of Islamic apologetics, taught me that. In the video that he published and later took down, he also explained that telling us to give each other a golden shower was not said out of anger and insanity, no, it was said to test my moral consistency.
Another thing I said, I was talking about homosexuality. I said, how about you and David Wood get involved in some kind of sexual activity? How about you get on your knees? Didn't like that. But wait a minute, what's the problem? Homosexuality should be fine. Now, you might think this is a very crude approach, and I would agree with you, and it's very questionable, but I have a method behind the madness, and you need to understand what the method is.
Wow, what a genius. That is a blatant lie, unfortunately, because in the same video, he also mentions how he told me in the past to engage in sexual activities with my sister and my mother, and he says that this was also just him testing my consistency. Instead of pointing the finger at Islam and the Muslim community, a finger he will surely need to fulfill his conjugal obligations, or indeed the incestuous activity he may be engaged in with mommy and sister.
What?
I wonder if inbred Rizwan has attempted to lure his mother into sexual activity. The argument for deformed babies may put him off actual penetration, but what about using his massive nose as the main instrument?
So I wanted to test his theory. If you're honest about believing that incest is morally acceptable, there has to be some kind of foreplay, some kind of luring process between relatives. There has to be a sexual drive. Yes.
What he forgot, however, is that back when he made those incest posts, he took them down afterwards, explaining that his fellow Muslims advised him to calm down and take them down. So back then he did acknowledge that he was wrong, but now he's saying that he doesn't make and delete those tweets because he is angry or impulsive. No, it's because he has a genius master plan. By the way, when he says that he made those golden shower posts and the gay sex suggestions to test our consistency, then what the hell is he actually talking about? David Wood is a Christian. All he would be doing is to get mockery in response and disgust from David Wood and his audience. He is clearly lying. He got impulsive, angry, and weird. This also shows his poor understanding and his ignorance of ethics. He thinks it is okay to tell me to engage in weird sexual fantasies with a man and to urinate on each other, because there is nothing wrong with that in my worldview, which is why I shouldn't be offended. Has Mohammed Hijab never heard of being gay? I'm sure he could ask his friend Daniel Hakikachu. He's very familiar with those topics.
LGBT, I call them rectum sex enthusiasts.
Just because I think it is not wrong for gay people to exist and to have interactions and relationships with each other, that does not mean that I myself will engage in those activities. On the contrary, I feel uncomfortable about having sexual interactions and relationships with a man. But that is not because this is in my natural disposition which Allah gave to me, no.
You think it's wrong because deep down you have a morality, which is, we would say, a predisposed morality, that incest is wrong, that suicide is wrong.
What?
He honestly thinks that we need some predisposed morality from Allah to understand that killing ourselves is bad.
So I told this atheist, don't eat food. Starve. Starve to death. Didn't like that. But wait a minute. What is wrong with starving to death in an atheistic worldview? Deep down, they know that eating food is good and that starving to death is wrong. And why do they know that? Because they have a predisposed morality from Allah, which is why they know that starving to death is bad.
And that another thing I said, I was talking about homosexuality.
Many gay men also find it very undesirable to have sexual relationships with women. In Mohammed Hijab's primitive Islamic worldview, if you allow something, then that means you must also like that certain thing, and you must also have no problem engaging in that certain thing. Because that is how Islam sees and defines the world, where you have to forbid everything that is bad and command everything that is good. There is not really a middle ground. Mohammed Hijab is seemingly incapable of thinking with nuance and reasoning, and thinks that all choices for me are just like choosing between different colors. And no, this is not just a comparison that I'm making up, he actually really does think that.
This is a neutral question. Almost the same as asking what is your favorite color. Believing that incest is morally acceptable should be as the same as me asking you what is your favorite color.
How stupid. Mohammed Hijab doesn't understand this, and he sees no problem in also sexually harassing my wife and the wives of Abdullah Samir and Abdullah Gondal, two ex-Muslims, including making assertions about our sex lives, telling our wives to find different husbands, telling his followers that our Islamophobic wives secretly want to be raped by people like him, and even making a tweet in which he presents a written imagery of him and his proud fellow Muslims raping my wife. Yes. When these anti-Muslim attention whore Islamophobes need to get on their knees in intellectual submission before they are whipped by freedom of speech by the Twitter Muslims, and they reluctantly open their mouth in protestation to find that they have been defiled by truth. This is an actual tweet made by Mohammed Hijab in the middle of all the heat, and it displays an imagery of Muslims raping whore Islamophobes. He just packed it in such a way that he gets away with it. Now, let me remove all the X's here, which he added while probably also thinking of himself as so smart and creative, and read that again. When these whore Islamophobes need to get on their knees in submission before they are whipped by the Muslims, and they reluctantly open their mouth in protestation to find that they have been defiled. I don't know if I need to make it any clearer, but the imagery is one of Islamophobic whores being forced to get on their knees before the Muslims, and then they are whipped and at least orally raped. And these disgusting tweets are still there, and he sees no problem with them, and has to this day not apologized. But hey, how dare I rip up a piece of paper? Is this how Muslims want to represent themselves? Is this really who they are?
The truth is this, is that the people now know what kind of vulgarities come out of this person's mouth.
Disgusting.
What kind of dirty individual
Absolutely
this is. Sickening human being. Talking to a woman, calling her, oh, you're a boy. You're nothing. Do you understand? You would never come to me and speak to me like that. Like the way you speak to that girl. You're because he's a little pervert, harassing, talking rape talk. If I did that to a Christian person or a Jewish person, atheist person, you're sick. You're sick. Ali.